Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's event. My name is Hasna and my attendance 34, and I will be serving as your moderator. Before we start today's event, I would like to make several announcements. Each speaker will be given 3 to 5 minutes to deliver their speech. And last but not least, please make this debate as respectful and constructive as possible. And the motion for today's debate is this House believes that environmental education should be compulsory in all university programs. And on team government, we have the first speaker, Dhini Deshinta Aryani, and the second speaker, we have Juan, and the third speaker, we have Penggalih. In opposition team, we have the first speaker, Naisya, Azka, Kamila, Hidayat, and the second speaker, we have Dina Elian Taufik, and the third speaker, we have Nadya Sofwah. Without any further ado, I would like to welcome the Prime Minister to open the debate today.
Good afternoon, honorable opponents and everyone present. My name is Dhini Deshinta Aryani. I am number 27 on the attendance list. Today, I stand as the Prime Minister of the government team to support the motion. This House believes that environmental education should be compulsory in all university programs. Before I present arguments, I will first briefly define this motion. Environmental education refers to learning about environmental issues such as climate change, waste management, and etc. Meanwhile, require means that all students from various academic programs must take this course. Today, I will present two reasons why we support this motion. First, environmental issues affect all professions. Environmental problems are not only the responsibility of students who study environmental science, they affect everyone, including students from other majors. For example, we, as education students, many of us will become teachers in the future, right? If teachers understand environmental issues, they can teach good environmental habits to hundreds or even thousands of students throughout their career. That is why every university student should have at least a basic understanding of environmental education. And the second one, universities have a responsibility to shape responsible citizens. One of the three pillars of the higher education is community service. So the role of the university is not only to produce graduates with good academic skills, but also to prepare students to become responsible members of society. For example, university often encourage students to participate in community programs and social projects. Environmental education supports this mission by preparing students to address real environmental challenges in their communities. Therefore, by making environmental education compulsory, university can produce graduates who are not only skilled in their profession, but also aware of their environmental responsibility. That's all from me.
Thank you to Prime Minister for the speech. And now to challenge the government guest, I would like to welcome the leader of opposition.
Okay, good afternoon all audience and good afternoon for government team. My name is Naisya from Hidayat and I'm number 31 on the attendance list. And here I stand as a leader of oppositions. To oppose the motions, this House believes that environmental education should be compulsory in all university programs. Firstly, I would like to emphasize that the opposition team doesn't deny the importance of environmental education. We agree that environmental awareness is important. However, what we don't agree is the requirement to make environmental education a compulsory module across all university degree programs without taking into account the relevance of each department. Today, my team and I will present our arguments as to why we oppose these motions. Firstly, environmental education is not relevant to all degree programs. Every department at the university has different learning focuses and competences. Consequently, not all students require environmental education as a compulsory module within their academic program. For example, medical students focus on more health science and patient care. Literature students focus on language and culture. If all programs are forced to add a compulsory course that is not directly related to their field, this could actually reduce the effectiveness of their core studies. Therefore, not all solutions should be applied equally to all departments. And in fact, many universities countries around the world offer environmental education as an elective course rather than a compulsory subject for all students. Take, for example, our own degree program, English department, where we still develop an understanding of environmental concerns without environmental education being made compulsory. This demonstrates that environmental awareness can still be fostered without imposing a single uniform system on all degree programs. And secondly, the additions of a compulsory course could increase students' academic workload. And currently, students are already facing a considerable academic workload, ranging from assignment, research, field work to internship programs. Adding a new compulsory for all students could potentially increase their academic pressure. This can be evidenced by own or personal experience as students, where we already feel overwhelmed by the sheer number of courses, even though there are no environmental education courses. That's all from me.
Thank you, leader of opposition, for the speech. Now to extend the government has, I would like to welcome the Deputy Prime Minister.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon for both honorable opposition and government chief. My name is William Sebastian Sinaga, and my attendance list is 15. And I'm standing here to doubt the opposition team's argument regarding the importance of environmental compulsory in university. The first reason is that even though every students in university have been taught to manage their waste in their environmental and their study environmental. However, when we take a look at the real life scenario, many students still left their waste untouched, which can make another students uncomfortable and can lead to unhealthy studying environment. And the second reason is that by applying environmental education, we believe that we can create brighter future for our next generations. Because if we take a look at the state of our nature right now, especially in the globalization era where
the government team assumes that making environmental education a compulsory course will create a better and safer future, right? However, what evidence do they have that students will actually change their behavior after taking that course? Thank you.
Thank you. So the government team believe that even though the implementation of environmental education is real, the result will not be instant, but at least by implying this education, the risk of the destroying of nature can be prevented by growing the awareness among students and people around them. If we take a look at the deforestation of Sumatra, for example, why the deforestation still continues is that because people still lack of awareness of the impact of the deforestation, which makes many people less vocal and not going to question why the government do such thing. So even though the result is not instant, we still believe that the students in university will gradually be more aware of the environmental preservation. And next, our last reason to implement this and to create brighter future. Because if we take a look at the state of our nature right now, there are many exploitations such as illegal mining, deforestation, and the broken of the ocean environment, which can cause our life in fatal condition. That's all from the government team. Thank you.
Thank you for the Prime Minister. Now to extend the opposition case. I would like to welcome the leader of opposition.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dina Elian Taufik, and I am number 5 on the attendance list as deputy leader of opposition. We disagree with that motion. While environmental education is undoubtedly important, we do not believe it should be made compulsory for all university students. We have the reason why we disagree. Most students already have basic knowledge about environmental issues from their previous education. Therefore, universities should offer students no thanks the choice to learn more about environmental issues instead of making it a compulsory course for all students. For the example, most students already have basic knowledge about environmental issues because they have learned about pollution. Yes, please.
The opposition team just said that environmental education is already covered sufficiently in school, right? But why do universities still offer so many advanced courses when, as we know, almost all of them are simply extension of high school material? Thank you.
Right. Thank you for your POI. We agree that many university courses are indeed development of what students learn in school. Environment education is important, but not every university program requires it as compulsory course. For example, we are from language students, so we need to advance linguistic course. So that's why we say if environmental education should be offered as an elective course rather than a compulsory course, allowing students to choose it based on their interest and academically. And I will continue our argument. So, most students already have basic knowledge about environmental issues because they have learned about pollution, global warming, climate change, and recycling through subjects like science, biology, geography, and environmental education. Therefore, universities do not need to make environmental education compulsory for all students simply to teach concepts they already know. Students can choose elective course to explore the topic further without being burdened by an additional compulsory course. That's all about opposition team statement. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Leader of Opposition. And now, I would like to welcome the government.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Penggalih, and I'm number 11 in attendance list, and I'm here as the government whip. So I would like to explain why our team will win this debate. Because the first one is the opposition team argues that environmental education is not really relevant in all majors. However, they do not really prove that environmental issues only affect in certain professions. But in reality, future professions such as teacher, doctors, business people, and all the policymakers will make decisions that can impact the environment. That's why environmental education is still relevant for all the students. And then the opposition teams also claims that having a compulsory course will increase an academic burden. But they're only focusing on the burden and ignore the benefits. Having one additional course is a small cost compared to long-term benefits that can make environmentally responsible graduates. And for the last one, the opposition teams also argues that students already learn about environmental issues, but what they didn't know is knowing about environmental issues or environmental problems is not the same as understanding it deeply and applying it for their future professions. And that's why university provides education by deep learning or deep understanding. And the most important thing is the opposition team themselves agree that environmental education is important. Yet they fail to explain why something important should not be compulsory. While our team, government team, has proven that environmental issues affect all professions, universities have a responsibility to develop responsible citizens, and environmental education encourage sustainable behavior. So, for these reasons, we firmly believe that environmental education should be compulsory in all university programs. I think that's all.
Thank you, the government, for the speech. And now I would like to welcome the opposition.
Okay, thank you. Hello, I'm Nadya Sofwah Gunawan. I'm second line of attendance. I'm a position week and I will summarize why our academy opposes the discussion. Throughout the debate, the government will continue to emphasize the importance of environmental education. Even though the core of the debate was not whether environmental education was required or not, we all agree that environmental education is important, and the question is whether environmental education should be made mandatory in all university study programs. Our team has a free online the main reasons why this concept should not be implemented. The first is environmental education does not have the same level of relevance to all study programs. Each study program has different goals, competencies, and academic needs. Therefore, it is not appropriate if one course is made mandatory for all students without considering their field of study. Second, making environmental education compulsory courses will end to burden students' academic burden. Nowadays, students are burdened with various demands such as internship programs, such as assignments, research, practical report, and internship programs. Adding new compulsory courses could potentially increase academic pressure and reduce the effectiveness of their primary learning. Third, some students already have basic knowledge about environmental issues from previous education. Topics such as pollution, climate change, recycling, and preserving the environment are taught in school. Therefore, students who want to deepen this knowledge can take it as an elective course and without making it mandatory for students. And now, and now compare the two things. The government argued that environmental issues affect everyone and that universities have a responsibility to develop responsible citizens. While we agree with that principle, the government failed to prove why the course is mandatory for all study programs and is the only and best solution. And otherwise, our team offers the more flexible approach and realistic. We continue to spark environmental awareness, but we also respect the different academic needs of each study program. Thank you.
Thank you to the opportunity for the speech. And now we will move to the reply speaker. I would like to welcome the opposition team to deliver the opposition replies.
As the reply speaker of the opposition team, I will explain why our team has won this debate. The government provides that environmental education is important, but the government failed to prove why it must be compulsory for all university students. Our team showed that environmental awareness can be developed in other effective ways without adding a compulsory course to every program. Therefore, we as opposition team reject that motion. Thank you.
Thank you for the reply speaker from opposition team. And now I would like to welcome the government team to deliver the government policy.
Okay, thank you. I would like to reply the opposition team arguments. So we as the government team believe that we has won this debate because we state that environmental education is compulsory or mandatory because we as students see directly how students behave to their surroundings. Example, when we go to the cafeteria, we see that there are a lot of waste of students that they left after use instead of putting it in the available space given by the campus. This is one of the example of the lack of awareness of students to their environment, which then can lead to another bigger impact if they once graduate. Another is that it is also affect another profession because we are student in English education, which will become future teacher. We must apply this and teach our future generations so that the next generations can be more aware and more vocal toward the environmental so they can preserve it, which can create bright future and safe environment to live in. Although the result is not instant, we believe that by implementing this education, we can create a good habit of people so that they can minimize the destructions of nature due to their negligence. And then, once that habit got planted in the people for both students and citizens, that habit can continue to generations and generations, which can then lead to bright future as we mentioned before. That's all from us. Thank you.
Thank you for the reply speaker from government team. And with that, we have come to the end of today's debate. And thank you to all speakers for your participation and have a good day everyone.